Freedom is a right of all living beings.
Don't fight it!
This ends now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I am Jonathan, aka Hedgehog Action, ready to talk some street humans with the man, the myth, the legend himself, straight from Mother Uduba, Shartimus Prime. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, Jonathan. Great to see you. 10 out of 10 on the pronunciation for Uduba. Thank you so much. Very well done. And happy to see you again. It was a pleasure meeting you at PowerCon, and thanks for having me on your show, man.
Yeah, man, it was a real thrill to meet you and chill for a little bit back at PowerCon in August. I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. So, number one, that was cool. Number two, I'm very excited to continue the conversation tonight and about a very specific topic, the Street Humans Kickstarter. For those that don't know, everybody that's watching this knows already, but this is the Shartimus Prime Kickstarter. Street Humans. How's it going so far, man? How are you feeling with the Kickstarter?
Yeah, I really feel very positive about the community's reaction about the figures themselves. I'm really grateful. I've had a lot of positive feedback. There's not really a lot to be upset about with the reactions or anything. I feel very confident in the figures. I feel like there's nothing, I've been pretty fluid the way I've been offering the figures, and I think I've gotten really good feedback, and I've been running with that feedback, and I've just really been enjoying this process. I like to put the word out there that it ends on the 4th. So the project,
4th.
Yeah, on November 4th, because it says the 5th on there. And I requested an extension, and the way that goes, which I didn't know you could do that, is that you put your request in and they tell you yes, no, or we'll give you whatever we say we give you. So they said, here's your new end date. I asked for 2 weeks more. They gave me 7 days, and it says it ends November 5th at 1 a.m. So it's really the 4th.
Gotcha.
Is the last day, November 4th, Sunday. So at the end of the weekend, that's got to be the day. So kind of like Hasbro, we have a Monday end date, but instead of it late Monday night, it's actually late Sunday night.
Just knock it out before Saturday. If Friday is a payday for you, knock it out then. Well, I'll say this again later. Get your pledges in now. We'll take a closer look at these figures, but sort of before we do it, we just wanted to get some sort of background information from you a little bit. Number one, I know from just doing my own research online, you've put so much work into this. This thing is years in the making. Where did the initial concept come from just to do an action figure line?
Right. I mean, I wanted to have a wider variety of civilians in my displays. I have a great time reviewing figures, and I love army builders. Like, if people that, you guys have been watching my channel for a while, I love army builders. I have a ton of stormtroopers, hand ninjas, Hydra troopers. Like, I love army builders, and I really felt like we never got a solid civilian army builder figure. And I definitely wanted to have a multi-ethnic array of army builders for these civilians. So one day in May during the pandemic in 2020, I took pencil to paper and just started drawing just to see, how this would look, just to get the idea out there. Once in a while, I'll get inspired to draw. I'm not a great drawer, but I can do some decent stuff here and there once in a while. Anyway, I was able to get this idea flushed out. I wanted interchangeable heads. I wanted swappable waists. I wanted to have a black character, a Latin character, an Asian character, a white character in there, and have them, have them as modular figures where you could swap their legs out, swap their arms for different upper torso pieces. a lot of inspiration came from Marvel Legends, of course. That's one of my all-time favorite action figure lines. So I wanted to have a similar articulation scheme. I wanted just to have really fun figures that I feel like nobody has really tapped into, even trying to make. Like there's, I've never seen anybody make figures in this kind of way. And I thought, hey, let's see if I could try to take a stab at doing this. It's the pandemic. I'm a musician. I'm going crazy, losing my freaking mind, not being able to play music. I don't know how to explain it, but just imagine that theater kid that loves being on stage and then the stage is just ripped away. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Like a big part of me was missing. It really hurt. This was a conduit for that creativity. It filled that void. And talking to Dave Vonner, who's an action figure legend in the community and in the industry, like he has been, the professor guiding me throughout this whole thing and letting me know, giving me a reality check on what's doable, we all think of our own ideas as collectors. So is this an idea that we could run with? Is this even a thing? And he really liked the idea, and he's been in my corner pushing hard for me, man. And he hooked me up with our incredible sculptor, Brandon Gash. I got to work with my friend from Brazil with Love, Vinny, did the designs, and it has just been a blast in this creative process. We had Ty Star, the artist, work on the Street Humans logo, who did a fantastic job. It's been an intense time. It's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun too.
That's freaking awesome, man. It's really cool to sort of hear about that a really crazy time in all of our lives can sort of provide fertile ground for something new creative to come out of it. And the whole idea of street humans in general, is a really cool idea. I do think it's a whole sort of in like the toy pantheon, but you've got a real twist to it here. I've watched the animated short about 100 times. So not only are these figures, essentially like, street humans, right? Like exactly what the name sounds like. You've got lore behind it, which makes it even cooler to me. Like my son, I have a 12-year-old son who was watching the short with me, and he loves the lore behind things. Can you just tell us a little bit about the lore? Because these aren't exactly what they seem when you first see these guys. They're from someplace else.
Right. Thank you so much for asking about that too. And I think I remember seeing you particularly really liking the Alago bat head sculpt over at PowerCon when we had him on display. I really appreciate that. The storyline was something that I'd drawn everything out and felt like something was missing, and I wanted to have some other element to it. I thought shape-shifting aliens. Okay, cool. So how are they shape-shifting aliens? I'm a huge Transformers fan, so it's very much inspired by like the fundamental building blocks of the Transformers story. They're aliens from another planet. They come here. They want to be in disguise. One wants to take over Earth. The other side wants to protect the humans from the villains of the story. That's just like the general outline of it, but I wanted it to be a little bit deeper and to have some kind of a reflective look at our own society. So Prince Alago is the main character. He's our protagonist.
Yeah.
And Prince Alago is heir to the throne. His motive is he wants to impress his father. He wants to prove that he could live up to the mantle of being king of planet Uduba. Now, these characters have their individual mutant powers, and King Alago, as well as Prince Alago, both have telepathic abilities. And the people of Uduba are starting to question, hey, like, how are you ruling us all while also having telepathic abilities? This is a little suspect. A civil war breaks out. One of the top generals and best friend to Prince Alago is our antagonist, Eon. And Eon, he came from nothing, worked his way all the way up to the ranks, and him and Alago are best friends. Alago even helps him get into the position that he's in right now of being one of the top generals. And Eon has this dream that their deity, which is I later found out is kind of similar to what a lot of Native American cultures have, where they believe like the planet Earth itself is their
Right.
deity. And the Udubans have that same faith. They Mother Uduba is the spirit of that planet. Now, their planet is extremely turbulent. It's 8 times the size of Earth. It spins 20 times faster than our planet. It has an altering axis that moves back and forth. It's crazy over there, thus them evolving to have this hyper adaptive ability to shapeshift and survive in any circumstances. So Eon has a dream, very much like how we have here on Earth. It's a dream that really starts this conflict. He believes that Mother Uduba is fed up with the Civil War and removes herself from the planet and goes into another planet, and that's planet Earth. Eon comes to Earth with a fair number of troops, and he seeks world domination. Eon, sent there by his father and his top general, Edel, to look after his son. Edel has super strength. Eon takes the top technician with him, Eros. So it's Eon and Eros versus Alago and Edel, and thus the conflict continues on planet Earth. And the way Eon wants to take over Earth is a little bit different than I think most villains tend to approach the situation, where he actually wants to heal the planet as much as possible before repopulating with Udubans. And in that process, the humans that live here, the street humans, which is actually us, very much inspired by Walking Dead. It's not the zombies that are the Walking Dead. It's not the walkers that are the Walking Dead. It's the survivors. They are the Walking Dead. So we are the street humans. These are the Udubans. They refer to us as street humans. And the street humans that side with Eon, they live. But the ones that go against them are brutally killed. So there's a whole violent aspect to the lore of this thing that I would love to dive into and get, some full episodes flushed out and everything. But yeah,
Dude, there's so much there. Like my mind is like running wild. And when you said that thing about the street humans, like it's a descriptive term, but it's the name of the line too. And that jumped out at me in the animated short when Ilago says, he says, "Leave these street humans alone." And I'm like, oh, he's talking about us. He's talking about the other humans.
Right.
So that was really cool, man.
Thanks. I'm glad you dig that a lot. Yeah, because I wanted there to be some depth here, and I feel like if there's even some depth in the name, a lot of people have criticized the name, and it's kind of funny that as I've explained what the meaning is behind the name, I really haven't gotten that same kind of criticism that the line once did. Which, by the way, the number one complaint for the longest time was the name. Talking about judging a book by its cover, right? Like, it's the name, dude. It's just a name. Look at the figures,
Oh, was it like that people thought like the name was pejorative or something like that?
They just, and they thought it was just, I don't know what their problem with it was, but people just didn't like it. And I'm like, I can understand that. I'm aiming for like a B movie kind of vibe, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, I'm sure there's some people, I don't know if you like Army of Darkness and Evil Dead, but like, I'm sure there's people that watched Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness and thought, oh, this is just stupid. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's not just stupid. It's supposed to have a little bit of a quirky side to it. And that's kind of what I'm aiming with this storyline. If I could flush out some animated episodes, I would inject some humor in there, some gore in there. I want to add all the things that I thought was part of my childhood growing up that made it fun, and I want to incorporate that stuff with street humans as well.
That's awesome, man. All right, thanks. So let's take a look at some of the figures here.
Sure.
And here we go. We see Eon and Alago clashing over the Street Humans logo here. So this is the Kickstarter, the base offering. You've got one of each of these two figures, right? And you've got Ilago in the camo pants, Eon in the tan pants here, and they each come with an extra set of hands, 2 heads, and they each get a weapon, right?
Correct. Yes.
So we have here, this is Eon here. So he has the lion head, 2 different expressions on the heads, and then he's got a handgun and he's got the sword there, right? The katana.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yep. And weapon holding hands too. Yep. With the trigger fingers.
Oh yeah, so he's got fists and then the weapon holding hands for the weapons, right?
Right. Right. And we've added variants too.
Yes.
I don't know if you're going to get to that. I'm sorry if I jumped the gun.
No, we're coming up. And then here's a quick shot at Ilago again here with the camo pants. One detail that I picked up in one of the videos that I was watching. So you can see the tops of the boxer shorts, right, on the characters. And the boxer shorts are different colors, each one to represent the Ninja Turtles. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, so each character will have they each have their own color. Vinny and I, our designer and I were working on these, and him and I had an epic Ninja Turtles experience at Comic-Con 2011, and we both love Ninja Turtles, and kind of throwing in a little bit of like a little nod to TMNT was something that, you know, I thought would be really fun to do. And I'm pretty sure that was Vinny's idea to give them those different colors like that, and I thought it'd be great to run with it. So
cool.
Yeah, I like having the different boxer colors. I've never owned purple boxer shorts, but I know they exist. I know they exist.
And listen, I'm sure that there's boxer shorts in every color of the rainbow.
Right. I need to buy some. I got to get one. I got to start tucking in my tank tops into my boxers, and I have to start getting the different colored boxer shorts to go along with it.
You're going to need a lot of boxer shorts. Get some extra orders in, guys. We need to buy some boxer shorts immediately to go with the street humans.
Back your street humans, back your boxer shorts. There you go.
Boxer humans on the way.
Boxer humans.
So another thing that sort of struck me a little bit as I was checking these figures out is the articulation, of course. You've got the diaphragm, you've got the ab crunch, you've got the waist cut. So here's a breakdown that is on the Kickstarter page about the articulation. Can you just give us a quick rundown about what your idea was and what people can expect as far as articulation goes?
Yeah, I mean, it's more. This is offering more than what you would see with your average retail figure. So I really wanted to aim for import level of articulation, more so than what we typically see with at the big box stores. I wanted these to stand out. I really wanted consumers to feel like they're really getting a great value with each of the figures. So I wanted it loaded with articulation. And we may make some changes to the head and the neck, but we have a disc hinge with the ball right now. We have butterfly joints right here, which getting this system of having removable arms while maintaining butterfly joints was definitely a big challenge. And I'm really happy with where we're at with this. Like, I just
putting you solo for a second here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. This is just really awesome that we're able to do. To me, this is a game changer, because what we're doing is that we're making this available so that you could put other garments on the figure without having soft goods. So without having to weave arms through sleeves and make sure everything's, tucked in right, and not getting worried about ripping fabric and all that. Like, you can just pop these arms off, and these are very early prototypes, and doing this arm removal has been really, really easy. So I'm really happy with the way this has come out. And just to demonstrate, now this is all part of a tier unlock. So I'm going to demonstrate actually a little bit. I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm not showing off all the articulation, but you have your typical arm joint, with the bicep swivel, shoulders, and rotation. And we're going to have pinless double jointed elbows. Woo! You can see the pins on this prototype, but they will be pinless. And then we get rotation and hinging up and down. We have triple articulation right here for the torso. So one thing I really wanted to make sure was that we could have these removable waist pieces. This was the original idea. I was worried that it may not work out. So you can actually pop these off also at the diaphragm, but they're meant to be popped off down here at the waist. But you have that option as well if you want to do it, because I was worried that we may not be able to get this down the way I wanted to. So I wanted to plan ahead. That's like the other thing, is coming up with contingency plans through and through, But yeah, you have the articulation where you could rotate the diaphragm, pivot, crunch forward and back. We have an actual waist joint down here at the bottom that crunches forward and back. And then we have the waist joint right here. We have a little bit of pelvic thrusting right there and turning side to side. By
Gotta
the
have
way,
the
my
pelvic
wife,
thrusting.
yeah, pelvic thrusting is important. Speaking of which, my wife helped with the butt sculpt on the figure because I wanted to make sure that it was satisfactory to the man butt lovers out there because, hey, I appreciate it. Whether it's a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. If they're making a figure, they should have nice butts. All
Yep,
right.
fair, fair.
So I'm fair across the board, man. And yeah, so these were to her specifications. Luckily, she's pretty savvy with Photoshop, and she was very particular about the butt cheeks on the figure. So, thank you, Charlita One. We
Did she
have
create a vision board? Did she create a vision board of butts?
no, she straight up Photoshop. I sent her an image. I sent her turnaround images of the figure of what we had at the time, and she had literally just photoshopped the shape that she wanted on each image and sent me back another image with around her butt because it was
Right.
flat at first and I didn't really notice either way, but to me it was fine, but I just wanted to make sure she was satisfied, and she was like, no, it needs more junk in the trunk, and I'm like, whatever. As long as like he's not walking around like was it Frankie Pena? Are you familiar with that guy, Frankie Pena, on TikTok?
Mm-mm.
I think that's his name. But oh man, hold on a second. I don't mean to go on a tangent, but there's this guy who makes these TikTok videos. This Latin dude, it's freaking hilarious. He wears these huge butt pads, so he'll do these little sketches where he's out in public, and like he did one where he was on a gurney but face down, and the paramedics are walking him past this huge line in front of a club, and his butt cheeks are just bouncing like crazy, and the reactions of all these people watching these like you gotta oh my god, all right, I'm gonna just laugh at this dude with his huge butt cheeks. Is hilarious. Anyway, we have the upper thigh cut in here, we have double jointed knees, and
The Frankie Pena SDCC exclusive. Street
yeah,
Humans
we're making
SDCC exclusive
for
Frankie
that.
Pena.
Yeah, with the big old nalgas. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, we got the double jointed knees here. See if we can get him, meet Robo's heel to the butt a little bit. See if we can do that. I don't know. We might try to get it to stretch a little bit more than that. We also have what was really important to me was making sure that we have ankles that move side to side and have beautiful ankle pivots.
Nice.
They move down, they move up, and you get toe articulation right there. So there's some parts of the toe articulation I want to clean up. Again, early prototype. There's little bits and changes that I want to see here and there, but I think the articulation on these is pretty fantastic. So,
from what I've seen from prototypes, it looks out of sight to me.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm not supposed to be playing with this figure. These are the ones that you're not supposed to pose the way I've been posing, but it's so freaking fun. I can't help myself.
Another thing that really jumped out at me too is like, I'm a big Four Horsemen, Mythic Legions, and now Cosmic Legions fan, right? Those are probably two of my favorite lines, right? And one of the biggest things that people love about those lines in the community is the popping and swapping. Of like the customizability of like changing heads and changing out different pieces and making new characters. And what's cool here with your line here is you have that. You have pop and swap capabilities. You can make a bunch of different characters. You can buy multiple sets and come up with like, multiple different characters. So that was all intentional, right?
Absolutely. From the very, 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 very first drawing of Street Humans, right at the beginning, that's what I wanted to have, because the whole purpose of it was to have a variety of characters, and what better way than to allow them to have interchangeable parts. I mean, you can see we have a logo right here with his Stretch Goal Deluxe pack right there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the hoodie, the arms, extra hands, that's an extra heads, and we have a hoodie down feature right here. But you don't have to have a logo wearing this. You could pick up, if we only get the logo stretch goal and we don't get the Eon stretch goal, you could still remove everything, just like how, just take it off the figure, and then you could put the hoodie accessory right on the Eon figure here. You do this in a way where I don't damage the paint. Yeah. There we go. Gotta be super delicate with these. And like I said, I shouldn't be playing with them as much as I have, but they are fun. And then you can just pop on the arms from, maybe switch the hands so that the flesh tone matches, of course. Ooh, got little bits of paint here and there. But it's worth demonstrating because it really kicks up the fun factor for me big time. You can put the hoodie down option on there, and then boom, now you have your Ilago Deluxe Accessory Pack right here being used on your Eon figure, which is very cool. I mean, I really like being able to switch these around and change them. I mean, man, and I'm really happy you guys are digging them, and I appreciate the positive feedback because like this has been living in my mind. So seeing it, like even just every time I do this process, like I get really, really giddy and excited about it because I was dreaming of being able to do this. You know what I mean? Like it's not, it was a fantasy. And even at this point right here with just a prototype, it's still amazing to have the experience of really pulling this off and actually, you know, executing the swapping and everything. So I'm pretty stoked.
They just look fun, man. And as you alluded to earlier, we had a new update. You've been coming strong and hard with the updates, man. We have some new variant possibilities here, right? So
yes,
this is them right here. So now, in addition to the camo and the tan pants, you're gonna have the ability to go blue with the jeans or black with the pants. So more options that you can pop and swap amongst the characters. All of a sudden now, I'm thinking 2 words: army building, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we want an army build big time. And I'm really grateful that the factory has been very flexible with me. Not only did we make this change, but before that, we added the alien heads, which it wasn't necessarily. At first, I didn't include the alien heads because I didn't think people would want them that much. But
I do.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy that you do. That was actually, it was just becoming apparent to me while at PowerCon. I was like, wow, people seem to be really liking the alien heads. Like it really, that really stuck with me. I was like, wow. But as we went more public with it, you know, I started to get that response even more so. And I was like, holy crap, I didn't want to like keep them from anybody. I just didn't think people wanted them that bad. So I'm ecstatic to include the alien heads just with the basic figure offering. I don't think I've actually made this swap yet. Like this particular look, I don't think I've ever.
Cool.
So this is the Eon Deluxe pack right here. On the Ilago figure. Now Eon will come with his own jersey arms right there, but you know I went sleeveless just to see, and I don't know. This is just a very cool look. I really like having this look right over here. So I love adding
so many options,
variations. Yeah, these options are fantastic. I gotta start I should probably sit there and just take a photo of every single display option that you could I should have done that already. Oh, I did do that at some point. Oh my god, it was like a crazy ass picture. I think it was the first go around I made an image like that. But with these two, I should actually see how it looks like with every single display option side by side, you know?
Yep. And of course, collectors want to know how the figures are going to scale. There's some really great scaling photos on the Kickstarter page. And here's some of them here where you can see the Ilago with some G.I. Joe Classifieds, some Marvel Legends. What do you got? Some Mafex over there. And they scale perfect. You know, they scale great.
Yeah, they're a little taller than your average Marvel Legend. I wanted to go for like an Eddie Brock or a Luke Cage sized dude, and I think they look great. Like especially having a bunch of those guys facing off against a Captain America or a Spider-Man. You know, like I think they look great.
Yeah, can you imagine the toy photographers out there, like the scenes they could come up with, where these guys could be some of the bad guys that, like you said, like a Spider-Man or something is fighting, or you throw the alien heads on there and they're fighting with the turtles in like in a scene. Like there's so much there, man.
Right. Yeah, I've been actually having a lot of fun with these with my TMNT figures recently. Posing them around with Splinter facing off a whole bunch of them. The Mirage comic. Splinter, thanks. Yeah, and I just did a review on the TMNT Secret of the Ooze Kino and Foot Soldier 2-pack, and I had Kino and Ilago punching each other in the face back and forth. So Actually, you know, it doesn't fit in perfectly with 7-inch scale figures. They're a little on the small side for the 7-inch scale figures, but if you're nifty with your camera work, you could make it happen. But they're really meant for 1/12 scale figures more than anything.
Yeah. Plus, if you're imaginative, like it still works. Like I don't know, you know my friend Greg, right? Big Greg, who we hung out with at
Big
PowerCon.
G. Yeah.
Whenever I talk about scaling, I always say, "Listen, guys, myself and Greg live on the same planet Earth, and we are nowhere near the same height. So
Oh yeah,
scaling is what you make it."
yeah. He's a tall dude, man. Yeah. So yeah, no,
So
it's
here we
great
have.
that-
No, I'm sorry. I was just wanted to pull up some of the other offerings here. Here are some of the stretchable accessory packs. The T-shirt, which is not a stretch goal, you can order the T-shirt, right?
Mhm.
And it kind of goes from there. If I'm saying his name right, Edil, he's the Asian character. He's another stretch goal, right? So there's some other options, man. If this trend keeps rolling here, like it only grows from there. Look at the different head portraits here. Like I love these different head portraits. And again, I'm thinking those base figures with all these different options, it's just sky's the limit.
Oh yeah, and each character will have a mohawk. Since you know, I try not to make the line all about me, but I wanted to have like these Easter eggs in there. You know what I mean? Like it's still my toy line. You know what I mean? So I'm giving everybody mohawks, and they're uniquely sculpted mohawks. So there's the Eon mohawk right there.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love those little Easter eggs. Like even like with one of the weapons, you have like the bat with like the barbed wire around it. Little nod to The Walking Dead, right?
Yes, yeah, that's two Walking Dead references. But I mean, Walking Dead's one of my favorite comics of all time. I was really into the show until we had kids. Like watching TV shows was like watching shows and reading comics was like the big thing that I had to kind of set aside a bit, you know, after having children. You know, I don't know if you have kids, but I feel like it's a very common thing for new parents to have to let something go. Like, so you have this huge addition in your life, something's got to give. So I still want to catch up on the Walking Dead series, and I've heard people have gotten, you know, a little bit less satisfied with it, but I never really stopped watching it because I didn't like it. And there was even a gap in time. I went back to watching it some more, and I was like, no, I still like it, like how I always have. I just don't have time for this right now. So, but eventually, yeah, I'll get back into watching my Walking Dead and catch up to everything.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I have a 12-year-old son, and my daughter just turned 10 over the weekend. And number one, time is a factor. Number two, you know, I just can't be sitting in the living room watching Walking Dead, and one of them rolls in and it's like, what's going on?
You understand to the fullest. Yeah.
Sometimes we'll just get up early in the morning, go down in the basement and watch a scary movie. So you got to pick your spots.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good move.
But again, I just wanted to show real quick. Century Productions, I think, did some great photographs for you, especially with all the different dioramas now. There's so many great street dios and things like that are coming out that these guys would just be so much fun to set up different scenes. And I just wanted to grab one or two of those photos to show people.
Thanks. I took that one right there, though. That was mine.
Come back.
Because Century did a fantastic job, though. That one's mine. But yeah, Century took a lot of photos for the Kickstarter. Like, he really helped us. I mean, big time. Because I didn't want to get those photos. I didn't feel comfortable having my photography go out there front and center. I really wanted to have a different look to the images where it definitely more refined. I think Century's just a much better photographer than I am. And I just wanted his polished look, you know, to get out there. And those are the images that, like, most of the time people are seeing. Like that one with the two of them facing off, that was Century.
Yep.
You know, he took that picture, and the majority of the photos that people see out there are the ones that he took. But I definitely have had to go back and do a lot of composite images and stuff like that, you know, and keep pushing, get more photos out there. Especially since added the alien heads.
It's killer, man. And one thing, you know, before I run out of time here, I have to make sure people know $28 a figure plus taxes and shipping here, right?
Right.
Dude, Like, you don't get figures like this for that price anymore. Like,
Yeah, this is a
you can't
passion
get this kind of
project,
quality, man.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, this is a passion project. I have no intentions of quitting my YouTube career. I've been doing it for 15 years. I have no reason to want to stop. I want to keep doing my thing on YouTube, and I want to work on these street humans on the side, continue getting these. I want to get orders out. That's like the next thing, like big thing that'll take
hell
up
yeah.
my time on the weekends and stuff like that is, is I want to get those orders out. So once we get this thing back, we're looking at November of next year. That's when they would ship, and I'll be able to get them out there. And I'm just very excited for that moment to come. So I'm pretty pumped about it.
So let's get it there, guys. There's going to be links to the Kickstarter page and all that stuff in the description of the video. I'll be pumping it. Again, guys, I'm a backer. I highly recommend you check out this Kickstarter if you haven't already. You won't be sorry. The price for these figures is amazing, and just the customizability, popping and swapping, the articulation, cool lore behind it. If you don't do it for anyone else, do it for me, because I need more of the lore. Sure. I need the story to develop. So everybody out there, go back it right now. Shartimus, thank you so much for joining us, giving us some of your time here as we're with you along for this little journey that you're on. Any final words for the future backers that are watching this right now?
Yeah, this is, like John's saying, this is a great deal, and I'm able to offer this deal in this kind of way. So take advantage of this opportunity. Like, this is not going to be the same if I have to go another route. And I have several backup plans in the off chance this thing doesn't get backed this way. I really think this is going to be the most favorable way to move forward with this. I've put a lot of thought, a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of everything to make this offering as dope as it could be. This is the best offering I could come up with this. I hope you guys take it, and I think you're going to be very, very happy if you do.
Okay, guys, that's it. You have until November 4th. So before November 4th, get your pledge in. You won't be sorry. It's a fantastic Kickstarter. Shartimus, thank you so much for joining me. Until the next video, guys, don't forget the number one rule. Be cool. And back to human.
All right. Thank you. Peace.